Venga, nueva partida, aquí comenzamos y vamos al lío. Nivel 21, actualización. Conseguí a la chiquitilla. Lo más de buena onda. Tío, me encanta el personaje. Tenía el otro personaje de fuego. Me gusta más esta chica, creo que pega más. Además porque la otra, la habilidad definitiva era dar velocidad. Y pues hombre, aquí concretamente pues hombre, no. Y este es el primero de 5 estrellas que tengo. Me da pena porque me gusta jugar con los protagonistas, porque así entre la película y lo que juego se me relaciona más. Y eso que aún me duele. Es más, lo voy a cambiar aquí. Ostras, ¿qué pasó? Ostras, ¿qué pasó? ¿Qué le pasó al mouse? Ahí. Lo voy a cambiar acá. Y es que ya dije, vale, voy a crear un grupo nuevo, ya que siempre estaba cambiando uno, que era la de fuego. Ya con dos yo dije, mira, me creo otro y ya está. Este es el equipo original. Además, lo voy a dejar ahí. Ya sigo. Y ahora continuamos con la misión misión cinemática, creo, más que todo, de las despedidas. Ya están de vuelta. ¿Cómo fue? ¿Están cansados? Oleg no les dijo... No les hizo pasar un mal rato, ¿verdad? Está bien, buena persona. Tiene razón. Aunque Oleg se muestre siempre severo, en realidad se preocupa por todos. Vamos, debes estar agotado después de un largo día. Ve a tu habitación, descansa. Voy a cocinar, te traeré la comida en cuanto esté lista. De nada, ahora que estamos en el gran hotel, todos somos amigos. Mira memorias, se me olvidó preguntar. La ropa de cama y las almohadas te parecen bien. Y la temperatura de la habitación funciona bien. Va todo bien. Si necesita algo más, dímelo. Llené una ficha que la ubicación de servicio. Quiero hablar contigo.
You're back. That hit must have been exhausting.
Ya está. Volvemos a casa tranquilamente. La ficha la llené, no puse nada malo. Así que con cariño. Vale, F. Hola. No, un hola de cansancio se apodera de ti, rodeando. Vale, el tema de la narrativa. Recordando que no has descansado en mucho tiempo, ni el sueño más terrible te despertaría esta vez. Espérate que igual lo tengo, ¿no? Ah, que no lo tuve.
Over there.
Venga, las hermanas separadas en la acera, a
That
ver.
used to be the worst street in Rivet Town, and it's also where I grew up. My friends and I used to wander those streets, thinking about where to find our next meal. That is, until Chief Oleg.
El orfanato, tío, que recuerdo como un momento que no recordé la palabra.
There, I learned to read and write from Natasha. At the age of 10, I started to patrol the mines with Oleg, occasionally getting into fights with the local thugs.
That sounds nice.
Nice? You being sarcastic with me?
Oh, no, sorry. Life in the underworld is difficult. I shouldn't be speaking about it so lightly.
You're always so serious. It really gets on people's nerves sometimes, you know?
Right. What I meant was... I kind of envy you, Zila. For as long as I can remember, my days have been an endless cycle of studying, etiquette lessons, and training. Every day, all I hear is, remember who you are, Bronya.
Cool.
This is against the Architect's admonishments, Bronya. Ladies shouldn't use such foul language, Bronya.
Pero bueno.
Some may envy this kind of life, but I have felt trapped. When every choice and every goal has already been made for you. Probably can't imagine how that feels.
No, I can't. But more importantly, what kind of foul language were you using?
In the name of the Architects, I shall stick this spear.
That's it? Oh, that's nothing. Look.
Ok.
It'll be better than poking people's nostrils, at least. I never thought that I'd be here having a heart-to-heart with the future guardian. As a kid, I didn't meet many people who lived in the overworld. I only heard stories from the grown-ups and figured you were all just a bunch of cold snobs.
I've heard from some Silvermane veterans that before the orders were made to seal off the underworld from the overworld, there was no difference between the two places. Everybody ate the same food, chatted about the same topics, celebrated the same festivals. Even though times are different now, things like the joys and sorrows of life, the ties between people, these precious things must certainly still connect us all. If there is a way to bridge the gap between the two worlds, we can definitely go back to the time when you and I were not divided. When we could stand side by side against the eternal freeze and the fragmentum.
I'm not like you. I don't have that many grand plans for the future. But if that's the future you want, I'm willing to build this bridge with you.
Thank you, Zila. Your trust is very important to me.
Speaking of which, what are you going to do next? What Svarog revealed must have made quite an impact, huh?
Yes. I thought I was prepared for anything, but as long as I am the Guardian's successor, those truths will come out sooner or later. But why does my mother hide it from me, and why does she want me to hunt down the outsiders who know about the nature of the Stellaron? I thought it over. There's only one thing I can do. Go ask her directly.
You... hold on. You're not really going, are you? Alone? You can't. This plan is...
I've already thought it through, Zila. I am Madame Cocolia's daughter. That will never change. Be it my duties as her heir or as a Silvermane guard, I must face my problems head-on. Even if...
Bronya.
This is for you, Zila. Please help me pass it on to the outsiders. If I am...
Ah, tío, la pausa muy larga, lo siento. Creí que había terminado.
You've made up your mind, and there's nothing I can say that will change it. But remember this. If you run into trouble, I will come to save you, no matter what.
¡Wow! Encontramos la hermana perdida, ya está.
Then I'll be waiting for you.
Claro, que se conoce en el orfanato, se frasa en la serie, ya no se acordaba de la casa. Esta sí, imposible que hayas venido porque tú eres del supramundo. Y mira, ala. Y se empezaron odiando, me acuerdo que se tiraban, y mira.
So, did you come to this spot when you were a child?
¿Veis? De lo mismo que uno hablaría con el típico primo que uno no ve hace 15 años.
Of course. I just didn't appreciate how nice it was at the time. Very nice.
Vamos. Y ahora todos somos amigos, felices, contentos, amor y paz por aquí y por allá.
That was a good sleep.
Ahorita es un
I
barato.
should go meet up with March and Danhong.
Vamos, hablé. Últimamente estoy hablando más seguido. Por cierto, tengo... Este personaje lo tengo tochísimo. Lo tengo tochísimo. Artefactos, moradísimo. No los tengo subidos porque ya no tengo nada más. Pero este, mejorado. Este creo que ya lo mejoré. ¿Cuáles mejoré? Lo que está en azul, ¿no? Esto mejoradísimo. Mejoradísimo. Sé que hasta acá subí. No, este no. Este mejorado. Ah, mejoré hasta aquí. Uf, es que eso los tengo... Que madre mía. Este, vale, este también lo tengo. Nivel 30, vale. Ah, bueno, esto es lo más importante. Ya le tengo el Eidolon. Me falta uno y completo los 6. O sea, de locos. También te digo, no encuentro estos. Pero cada uno tiene el suyo, ¿no? 7 de marzo. Material para mejorar. Sí, o sea, ese oscuro no. Solo he visto este, el clarito. Este, el dorado, este. Solo he visto ese. Me lo he ganado. Alguna cosa me lo he ganado. Y luego tenemos arroz. Y luego en la tienda, que lo he podido comprar un par de veces. Recojo esto. Por fin supe para qué es esto. Yo decía, ¿para qué es esto? ¿Para qué es esto? ¿Para qué es esto? Pero resulta que con esto compran tarjetas. Y compré un par de tarjetas y ahí fue que me gané al personaje este azul de 5 estrellas. A ver, y ahora para. Por aquí.
Took you long enough, sleepyhead. We've been waiting all day. I've noticed that our sleep routines don't match up. You either keep getting up in the middle of the night or snoozing away until the day's almost out. Unacceptable. You gotta work on your teamwork.
Did you have a dream again last night?
So that's why you slept for so long.
Well then, let's go find Wildfire to discuss our next move and see if they have any new discoveries.
Let's go! I can't wait to finally get back
Ojo que completamos el capítulo de lo subterráneo. Ojo la música. Hombre.
Oh, look who's here.
It's the Banus Farag, the big hero of the underworld. And the other big heroes, Dan Hung and March 7th.
Were those lines rehearsed?
Where's Natasha? Is she here?
She has a bunch of other things to attend to.
Ah, tengo una misión secundaria, es
If you
verdad.
don't mind talking to this old man instead.
De este tío, de ir a
And by the
verla.
way,
A la
sorry for
clínica.
keeping that whole thing about her being the actual leader of Wildfire a secret.
Por cierto, lamento haberle ocultado durante todo este tiempo que yo solo soy el ayudante. No importa. Bueno, no os lo dijo, así que no lo dijo
I'm
nada.
glad you don't mind. Natasha is always cautious, but she has no ill intent. Is you sure? She told me to make sure you return to the overworld safely. I gave it some thought, and I think the safest way is to ask this fella for help.
I brought you down. I can take you back up. Free of charge. Satisfaction guaranteed.
There's no need to knock us out this time, right?
Of course not. This time, we'll go back through the furnace core. That would be problematic and dangerous. Trust me, we should go through the furnace core.
Ugh, enough chatter. Just be a good guide.
Hold on. What about Branya? Why isn't she here?
She already went back. As you know, she has some things to settle with the Supreme Guardian.
¡Ah, que ya se fue! ¡Ostras, qué bajero! No sé, espero.
She just ditched us and went back? How could you let her?
Exactly. She has a lot of responsibilities. I don't completely understand, but I trust that she's trying to solve the problem.
Espérate que nos la vamos a encontrar en problemas.
Oh, right. Branya told me to give you this.
O ella sube con nosotros, esta chica.
She left us a letter. Could this be one of those open in case of emergency letters?
Stop overthinking and just open it.
Cuando lean esta carta ya habré regresado. La leo. Ya habré regresado al supramundo y estaré de camino para ver a mi madre. Perdónenme por no contarles mi plan con antelación. Tenía miedo de que se opusieran enérgicamente y me hicieran dudar. La señorita Cocolia me creyó y nunca seré capaz de devolverle tan gran generosidad. Ella me enseñó numerosas lecciones de vida y virtudes, además de cómo defender a Belobog y su gente. Aunque últimamente ha tomado ciertas decisiones que me desconcertaron, no puedo olvidar todos los recuerdos maravillosos que tengo con ella. Claro, es porque tiene esa voz maligna que le maneja. Que ya vimos que está mal, que no es la mala. Tengo que contarle mi punto de vista y mi opinión de forma sincera, así que cómo tratar de que nos entendamos mutuamente. Este es mi objetivo como hija, pero también mi responsabilidad como guardiana de esta Nargenta. Pero soy consciente de los riesgos a los que podría enfrentarme en este viaje. Si no logro obtener la aprobación de mi madre, o si me sucede algo, envíen esta carta a los hermanos Landau y soliciten su ayuda. Sarval y Gepard son personas honorables con mucho poder en Belobog y confío plenamente en ellos. Estoy segura de que, al ver mi sello y mi caligrafía, les ayudará con todos los medios a su alcance en la búsqueda del estelarón. ¿Veis? Vamos a llegar y va a estar liada, como cuando encontramos a Clara. Es que de verdad. Típico de irse solos. Típico que en la película se separen.
Oh, Serval! So she's Gepard's older sister.
She gave it some good thought. But whatever's going on in that Supreme Guardian's head... Sampo, do you know the Landau siblings?
Landau. Yeah, we're all friends. I've mostly dealt with the younger brother in the past, but the sister... she's much scarier. Today's supposed to be a day of celebration, so let's not talk about it right now. We can set out at any time. Just come find me when you're ready.
La devastadora noche invernal. Misión estos caminos, purificación de la oscuridad externa. Continúa tras alcanzar el nivel 24. Me lo venía oliendo. Hay muchas formas. El cáliz, que ese es el árbol. El universo simulado, que ahora tenemos dos, ese y el del espejo. Y el salón olvidado. El salón olvidado, el del espejo. U otros modos de juego. ¿Cuál es más? Me he dado 3 vueltas al mapa buscando enemigos por ahí fuera y no hay. No hay. Pues nada, soy nivel 21. Cuando necesitamos llegar a nivel 14 estaba en el 12. Ahora necesito llegar a nivel 24, soy en 21. O sea, soy un nivel por debajo. Eso sería subir 2,5. Y tengo misiones de... Es que ¿qué tengo misiones? Pues con esto acabamos. Con los que no puedo hacer más. No puedo hacer más. A ver, la paradoja de la guía. Universo simulado 2. Y tenía que hacer esa misión para seguir con el 2. Así que seguimos esta. No, esto no. La paradoja de la guía. Estación espacial Gerta. Jarillo. Esta es la que quería hacer. Ya que estamos, ya que no podemos hacer más, vamos a finalizar esta. ¿Que era hacerle compañía o era a ver si estaba bien? Algo así nos dijo el señor con el que estábamos hablando. Así que no creo que sea muy larga. Espero que tu exploración progrese, Dostin, y que tu travesía esté libre de infortunios. Por supuesto, no te asustes si te lastimas por accidente, déjalo en manos de la doctora. Por supuesto.
You came at a good time.
Okay.
There is something you can help me with. According to my patient records, there are a few that haven't come for their follow-up visits. It happens from time to time, but never as regularly as this. Have you heard of the Complex Illness Mutual Aid Society? Generally speaking, mutual aid societies like these allow patients to share their experiences and support each other. It's a way of countering all the negative emotional effects of being ill. But there might be more to this society than that. I've got a few patients who have started refusing treatment since joining the society. It certainly makes you wonder. The most suspicious part is that no matter how much I ask, no one's ever willing to tell me anything about it. And that's where you might be able to help. Pretend to be a patient. Help me investigate this so-called mutual aid society and find out exactly what they're up to. If I find out they're preventing me from doing my job, or if they're bringing harm to my patients, I won't just sit on the sidelines. Can I entrust you with this task? This little clinic has huge numbers of patients to deal with every day. If I didn't have you here to help me out, I wouldn't be able to focus on giving them quality care. Good luck. I'll be sure to thank you properly when you're back.
Búsqueda del origen de la medicina. Sí, un poco mal rolletos. Un poco mal rollero. A ver a dónde tengo que ir. Cerca, lejos. Espérate, mensajes. Nueva misión. Tenemos 2 misiones. Doctor, forasteros. Por fin logro contactar contigo. Jefe Scott es importante últimamente. No deja hablar de negocio y tienes tiempo para hablar con él. De acuerdo, iré a echar un vistazo. Que creo que no sé quién es. ¿Verdad? Yo no lo recuerdo. Sabía que era la persona adecuada. Hablar con Scott cuando tengas tiempo. Yo siempre cuido de mis amigos. No te olvides del club cuando hayas hecho tu fortuna. Y Hawk. Tengo con Hawk, vale. 50. ¿Dónde están? Aquí. Te he visto antes
I've seen
en...
you in the clinic. You run errands for Natasha, right? Your cover? What are you Let me guess. Natasha wants you to persuade me to go back for a follow-up visit, right? What's the use? I'm terminal. Life will be over before I know it. Of course not. I read it in a book. Every
Okay.
book I read has descriptions that match my symptoms exactly. I can diagnose myself with a dozen incurable diseases before I get halfway through.
Hmm.
For people in my situation, a follow-up visit is just a waste of time and money. Not to mention medicine. What else is there to say? Natasha was seeing me free of charge. She said I could keep a tab running for as long as I liked, then pay it back when I had the opportunity. I guess I'm too... You think I need you to tell me? Dr. Vash never charged me anything either. Natasha's great, but Vash was always my number one. Natasha's brother, they both used to practice medicine back in Rivertown. I heard he was a top student from the Overworld Medical Academy. Bellabog's main hospital wanted him. I have no idea what convinced him to set up down here.
Vale, este tío es el malo.
What do you mean? Dr. Vash was a people's doctor. He handed out free medicine. He even followed up with detailed questions on how the underworld is always short on medical resources. They say that Dr. Vash made all his own medicine himself.
Desarrolló el mismo Ah, está experimentando con ellos. Ya está.
You think I don't want to? I heard that he passed away.
Y se echó a perder por eso bajo.
I should keep my voice down. Don't go telling...
Por eso bajo aquí.
I heard that Natasha had something to do with Dr. Vash's death. They say she was jealous that her brother had stolen her patients, so she... It's just something people were saying. I don't think Dr. Natasha could do something like that. Forget I said anything. Since Dr. Natasha sent you over specially, I'll go to the clinic for my follow-up a little later.
Avoiding a follow-up visit due to money issues. I should find another patient to talk to.
What was that? Oh, you'll have to be louder. My ears aren't what they used to be.
Vale.
Ah! A follow-up visit. Natasha's a wonderful girl. She always gives me a thorough checkup. But at this age, it's rather a lot to bear, even if they could cure me. That girl's always trying to get me to take my medicine on time. I know her heart's in the right place. My husband had the same illness as me, but he never touched the medicine. He wanted to make sure I had enough. Then, one day, he said he needed to take care of some things at the mine. He never came back. He was forever saying he wanted to go before I did. Ah, selfish old fool. I miss him. Now that he's gone, who cares how long I stick around? You're not wrong, I suppose. That girl certainly spares me no effort. But I always feel like I'm a burden to her. Okay, you win. It's off for another follow-up visit with Dr. Natasha. Did you want... virtual? All right, I heard you. Do you have to shout? No, I've never heard of any mutual aid society.
¿Quién me falta?
Avoiding a follow-up visit because of her husband. I should find another patient to talk to.
¿Dónde está? Derecho. Vale, uno por cuentos raros de un doctor. Que yo ya me estaba montando películas de que estaban experimentando con ellos y le estaban dando medicamentos que él mismo creó. La señora por depresión.
Why haven't I gone for my follow-up visit?
Y a ver este tío que
Are you
dice.
a patient too, or did Dr. Natasha send you? Who else would care about people? I don't need Dr. Natasha's help now. Tell her to save her worries and medicine for other people. A dispute? No, no. She's the only kind-hearted doctor in the underworld. I just don't really approve of her methods, that's all. She tries to save everyone, which means she can't save anyone. In the end, it's the patients who suffer, and she just tires.
Bueno, dice que es la más eficiente y luego dice que todos acaban
Miners
sufriendo.
like me don't have time for lengthy treatments. If I can't take something and get right back to work, I may as well lie down and wait for death to come knocking. Did you, know Dr. Vash? His wonder medicine is cheap, and the results are immediate. You just need to, be willing to, take a little risk. Dr. Vash's medicine is...
Sí, está experimentando con ellos.
Lots of people make a full recovery after taking it, but some get worse, and the unlucky ones check out early. Even knowing the risk, most people fight tooth and nail to get hold of the medicine. You know why? When life forces you to the edge, you'll throw yourself at any opportunity, even if it means risking it all. For people like us, a slow and torturous treatment is the same as a death sentence. If it's between that and a quick result, we'll take the latter. Forget it. Why am I telling you all this? Dr. Vash is dead anyway. What? Listen up. The Complex Illness Mutual Aid Society is still selling that medicine. I can tell you where they trade, but there's a rule. You must not tell any of this to Dr. Natasha. You hear? If you break the rule, you'll face the consequences. Here, take this. It's the address. A final warning. Do not...
Perdió.
I know where to find the wonder medicine. That patient didn't want me to tell Natasha about this.
Bueno, porque eres el malo. Inspeccionar el lugar. Primero inspeccionar el lugar y se la llevo. Si el caso tal, tomo la medicina y se la llevo. No es como que pueda hacer eso así, eso aquí. ¿Sabe? Como si fuese la vida real. Que, me llevo esto. Pero me imagino que el juego estará así, ¿no? ¿Cuántas misiones he hecho eso? Que llega, recolectas algo y entregarlo lo que solicita. Algo así, me imagino, ¿no? Tal vez sea así la misión. O sea, pues sea de ese estilo.
Hey, where do you think you're going?
Me duele el tobillo. Estoy yendo a la asociación.
Medicine. Oh, you mean Dr. Vash's wonder medicine, right?
Yeah,
Same as everyone
yes,
else that comes through here. If you want medicine, you don't need to go any further. We only take cash. This ain't a charity. The Mutual Aid Society sets the price. It might be different from Dr. Vash and his handouts, but it's a darn sight cheaper than that clinic woman's medicine. Well, are you buying or not? Spit it out. I don't have time for chit-chat. Wait a minute. Your clothes. Are you friends with that doctor woman? I've seen you at the clinic before. I know. Get lost. Now. If you're a friend of that woman, then you're not welcome here. Shop's closed today. No.
Wait. What about our medicine? We've been waiting for 8.
Get lost. All of you. Save your breath and come back some other time.
That medicine seller sure closed up shop in a hurry.
Get lost. Now. If you're...
Ok. Entonces, ¿qué hago? Informa a Natasha. Ah, vale. Vale, pues le decimos a Natasha. Creí que iba a poder entrar.
It's getting late. Where to now?
Mi niña, ¿qué hace por aquí mi niña? A ver, chica, ya me enteré de todo. A ver, nada, agente 007 a tu servicio. Por supuesto, no te asustes si te asustima por accidente. Déjalo en nuestras manos, doctora. Explica lo que sucedió.
So the Mutual Aid Society found Vash's research results, and now they're selling this so-called wonder
Sí, no se llevan
medicine to
bien.
patients. Any organization doing something like this is interested in more than just mutual aid.
Exacto.
As a doctor, I don't accept that. I'm responsible for their well-being. My attitude towards this wonder medicine won't change. What Vash left behind is nothing more than reagents and experimental byproducts. The word medicine doesn't apply here. I warned the patients countless times, but seems like they had their heads in the sand all along. No wonder they kept the Mutual Aid Society a secret from me. I'm guessing the patients you met weren't exactly singing my praises, which is why you tracked the dealer down and made inquiries first. I don't blame you.
No, fui para
Everything you heard,
tener más
I'm grateful you
información.
came back to find me. Your trust is important to me.
Nada, para eso estamos.
If you're curious about Vash's wonder medicine, you should ask some of the patients in the clinic. See what they have to say about the effects.
The medicine Vash left behind. I know Dr. Natasha.
Ok, bueno, acá te van a decir que no funciona. Acá también.
Some people say that people's doctor. The hard truth, of course.
No me preguntes nada. Espérate. Vale, has terminado de hablar con los pacientes.
I still haven't worked out how to convey it to you. The issues surrounding Vash. I'm guessing you've heard a lot of different opinions on Vash. What do you make of him?
Ah, lo típico que es una estafa. Poco ético.
I want you to go and visit another patient, a victim of the wonder medicine. I want you to see the real consequences of abusing that medicine. Once you've understood her situation, come back and tell me what you think. After that, I want to ask for your help again.
Vale. ¿Dónde? 12. Vale, de frente. Vale, vale, vale. Con cariño esta misión, que no voy a tener una en bastante tiempo. Ah, mírale, ve. Buenas tardes.
Who are you?
Uf.
Who?
Vale, le da amnesia. No te has presentado.
Where's my husband? Where are they?
Uf.
You don't know where?
Come over here, child. It's best that poor lady. Both her husband and child be... Oh, not terribly serious, but they needed to get treatment every now and then, which did impact their livelihood. In order to try and rid themselves of the ailment once and for all, they bought some kind of wonder medicine. Who would have thought their condition would deteriorate so rapidly after they began using it? The two began to suffer terribly, such that death became a blessing. It wasn't long before they departed this world. From that moment on, oh, she became as you see her now. If Dr. Natasha hadn't taken her under her wing, well, it doesn't bear thinking about. And yet, what more could have been done? They were warned about the medicine. They were told about the risks. And they chose to roll the dice. Oh, talking about it tires me out. At least my husband and I are able to help her where we can. I just hope that one day she can lead a normal life again.
Volvemos a casa. Solo en el menudo drama, vivimos. Un problema aquí de los gordos. Exploración, progreso de Dostin, por supuesto no te asustes visitar la cima presente con el santo. Vale.
Did you speak to her? By the look on your face, I'm assuming you've come to understand the wonder medicine all too well. Be it Vash or the Mutual Aid Society, forces like that can take full advantage of the typical underworld state of mind.
Nada parecido con la realidad.
Tell you a story. There was once
Ojo, momento
a
palomitas.
brilliant overworld doctor
Sin cinemática, pero
unmatched pharmaceutical skill.
momento palomitas.
The doctor was set on developing a medicine that would steel the human body against the cold. He named his research project Blizzard Immunity. But his research met with obstruction time and time again, the biggest factor being a lack of test subjects. Tampering with the human immune system carries huge risk.
Empezó a hacer experimentos y por eso bajó. Nada de locos. Estoy volando.
As such, the doctor got in touch with his sister in the underworld. Naturally, his sister was overjoyed. After all, as far as medicine was concerned, her brother had always been the standard she'd strive to attain. She brought her brother underground and entrusted him with her clinic and laboratory. I think you know what comes next. Issuing free medicine to the needy was just Vash's way of conducting experiments on his test subjects. On some level, his reagents were able to alleviate the patient's suffering, but nothing more. They would forget their pain for a while and neglect their regular treatment plans. The result? Patients with mild illness would attribute their recovery to the so-called wonder medicine, while patients with serious illness would quickly deteriorate. And sometimes die. I cannot accept that their fate was simply the result of misfortune or risk. No true doctor would accept that. That's why I want you to help me recover all the wonder medicine. Are you willing? Thank you. This will be hard for the people that have come to rely on the wonder medicine. But it's up to us to remove this. You mustn't hesitate. Recover every last reagent that Vash left behind. I'll take responsibility for the consequences. Don't worry about that. Go. I'll be waiting for the good news.
Vamos a reventar cabezas, espérate. Venga. Momento allanamiento. ¡Hala! Caballero, ¿qué están escondiendo? Por aquí, por aquí, por aquí, por aquí. A tope de power. Venga.
Stop right there. Who are you trying to? She's at men.
¡Hala! A lo que vinimos. A lo que vinimos. Me le bajas dos tonitos, chaval.
This song's just for you. Keep up with my tempo.
We're just having fun.
You have the worst luck running into me.
A ver, me servía más el otro equipo que tenía formado. Pero esa parte no la sabía.
Pretty good crowd today. Turn up the volume.
What about this?
Watch this.
Reach the end of the story in your own way.
El coproducto tiene medicinas de prueba con códigos de experimentos. Deben ser medicinas milagrosas. Un sonido de paso repentino detrás. Presidente. Ah, el estafador de madre.
You listen, those poor patients. Along comes a life-saving wonder medicine. The underworld is full of sickness. What would my mutual aid society has relieved that doctor of patients?
No.
Seems like you are quite bent on dismantling our operation. Fine, seeing as you came all this way, is it men? Seize the medicine.
Venga, vamos a lo que venimos. Y ojalá también esté dentro de la pelea. No está dentro de la pelea, pero bueno.
This song's just for you. Keep up with my tempo.
Let's go.
Me equivoqué de botón.
Ready to lose yourself? Fight it or rock with it. My music conquers all.
I told ya I could fight.
Rules are made to be broken.
¿Puedo atacar cuando sea? Le di sin querer, ¿Cómo? ¿Puedo atacar cuando sea? ¿Con la definitiva? Negocio, es lo que es. Estafadores. Venga.
What are
Que
you
te
doing
reviento.
here?
Selling fake medicine with false kindness. You should have expected trouble to find you sooner or later. I have a responsibility to protect the well-being of my patients. Or to put it another way, I must eradicate any and all threats to them.
You can't save everyone. The underworld is teeming with sickness.
You're right. I can't save everyone alone. But if I must, I would sacrifice food and sleep to treat them. The debt that Vash owes to the underworld rests with me. All I can do is help everyone to the best of my ability.
Premio Nobel de la Paz.
To the
So stubborn. In that sense, you're no different from your crazy brother.
I'll take that as a Thank you. Your actions today have saved many underworld families. I'll find a way to dispose of Vash's leftover reagents. Next time the Mutual Aid Society wants to whip up a quack cure, they'll be out of luck. Let's go back to town. I still owe those...
Y voy a buscar. Vale, pues terminamos la misión. Bonita, eso, guapo, bonito final, Bonito final por ahora.
Uh-oh. It looks like the patients have surrounded Natasha.
What are you saying, Doctor? The wonder medicine is out?
Correct. That medicine is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Wildfire has cut off the supply chain. Your ailments need rational, scientific treatment. Relying on pseudo-medicines will only worsen your condition.
Rational and scientific, huh?
Típico tontería, tío. Nada. Cualquier coincidencia con la realidad. ¿Cómo es? ¿Cómo es la frase? Cualquier parecido con la realidad es pura coincidencia.
I
Cago en la
understand
leche.
your anger, but as your doctor, I ask you to trust my judgment. I will
Eso.
find a way to access more medical resources and help you through your struggles. If I must, I'll get help from the surface.
The surface. I almost forgot.
Have some respect for Dr. Natasha.
Espérate, que le reviento las gafas.
Respect she wants, she better find a replacement for the wonder medicine fast. If not, I'll tell everyone about how she's... I'm out of here.
Espérate, que me lo cargo también. Muchacha, que ya llegué.
Oh, you're here. I apologize.
Mira. Shh, me leyó la
Don't let your
mente, me cago en la
emotions
leche.
get the better of you. If I were in his shoes, I might well have had the same reaction. Now I need to focus on treating the patients and dispelling their doubts. Let's leave it for now. I'll feel a lot better once I've gotten rid of this mess that Vash left us. Now's as good a time as any to tell you Vash's whole story. If there's anything you want to know. No, but I used to think we were so close that we may as well have been.
Ah, que eran amigos, eran colegas.
I
medicina.
actually grew up in the orphanage. It wasn't until I was adopted by an overworld family that life changed.
Ah, ok, no, sí eran familia. O
My
sea,
adoptive mother always
política.
saw me as her own flesh and blood. And Vash loved me like a sister. But my adoptive parents belonged to a prominent medical family. As kids, we were exposed to all kinds of medical texts. When we were older, both of us got straight into Belobog's medical school. He was gentle and introverted. But when it came to work, he could be absurdly obsessive. Whenever I made a mistake in an experiment, he'd bite my head off. And then a while later, he'd apologize and comfort me. He was conflicted in that way.
¿Quién le dejó?
I didn't know he had leftover reagents in Rivet Town. I was shocked when you told me. If you fail to make a clean break with the past creeps up on you.
Oh, frase del día. Hala.
That's a long story. Ever since he was little, Vash had always wanted to develop a medicine called Blizzard Immune. He saw the human body's vulnerability to cold as a disease, and wanted to cure it so that humanity could survive the eternal freeze. If he succeeded, people would be able to leave Belobog and rebuild their homes in the snow plains. To be honest, I never understood how he'd achieve that blizzard immunity. But I do admire that vision and perseverance. I always chose to believe him. I knew his research in the overworld wasn't going well. I used to write to him and ask him to come down and stay with the kids in the orphanage for a while. I thought it might help take his mind off his research. But I was too young to know what long-term frustration could do to a person. It changed him in a terrible way. During his stay in the underworld, he met patients affected by fragmentum corrosion with mild symptoms. Compared with non-patients, their bodies reacted differently to hot and cold. And that he began to simulate mild fragmentum corrosion, thinking that it could lead to breakthroughs in developing blizzard immunity. Those reagents of his aren't cure-alls for critical illness. That doesn't exist. Vash made the reagents to mitigate the suffering of his patients in the short term. A convenient way for him to observe changes in his test subjects. But behind my back, he had been doling out the reagents to residents who were kept in the dark. When it finally struck me that something was wrong, his terrible research had already turned him...
No, demencia.
Indeed.
Se volvió científico loco. No.
No. How ridiculous. My judgment was clouded by trust in a loved one. When his experiments were exposed, I spent a long time with Oleg discussing how to handle the aftermath. This was shortly before the underworld was sealed off. There were hardly any Silvermane guards remaining. In the end, Oleg suggested that we banish him and permanently deny him access to the
que está arriba.
Had his victims found out the truth, Vash would have been torn to pieces by furious underworlders. Looking back, it wasn't. He deserved much worse. Oleg and I took Vash to the overworld. He made his final request to us. To take him outside the city to the snow plains he'd always wanted to conquer.
Ah, bueno, está arriba, pero fuera.
His figure gradually disappeared into the snow curtain. I've been telling myself that Vash is dead ever since. Forgive me. I'm not good at telling stories. Vash was a terrible brother,
yo soy encantadísimo aquí con palomitas. Es que solo me falta una cinemática,
That's
tío.
all you need to know.
Que hubiese cinemática de esto, como el Naruto 3, el Shippuden Store que era más cinemática que gameplay. Wow, estaría aquí encantadísimo,
Let's call it a day. Thank you for cleaning up the mess my brother left behind. Here, for your trouble.
Búsqueda del origen de la medicina. 21,5. Y premios a más no poder. Pues no siendo... Madre mía, el diente. No siendo más, por aquí lo voy dejando. Tengo que subir a nivel 24 hasta que no suba un poco más, como lo hice antes, que del 14 pues volví a hacer misiones cuando ya estaba en el 15, para tener un poco de margen. Pues acá, si llegaré al 24, si puedo llegar al 25, si veo suficiente margen, lo haré, que era lo que me pintaba rojo, tío. Y, no siendo más, nos vemos en la próxima. Acá están las misiones. Vale, ya tengo unas cuantas para ir haciendo. Además de conectarme con todos los días, porque apenas voy para la semana. Así que tendré todavía para reclamar de pronto otro personaje. Igual me ganó otro de 5 estrellas. Ojalá me salga otro azul, ojalá verde, morado. Que es que al azul le tenía mucho cariño, pero bueno, es que claro, si ya me salió el azul no tengo nada que decir. Y el gris, es que es mi personaje principal, tío. Es que no... O sea, lo quiero seguir usando, ¿sabes? Es por cariño. Por cariño. Por nada más. Y venga, no siendo más. Por aquí me despido con la chiquitilla Hawk. Y nos vemos en la próxima con más. Así que... Espérate, momento portada. Qué amargado, ¿no? Sonríe un poco. Mira a la niña con esa cara de ilusión que mira.